Well, Islamic bonds are poised for record gains now that the market's biggest issuer, Dubai developer Nakheel, is likely to avoid default. Now, bonds are climbing almost twice as fast as global companies' non-Islamic debt, and sales are expected to surge as businesses, including General Electric, plan debt issues. Now, our next guest funds has returned 20% this year after buying Islamic securities. And here to tell us where he's finding opportunity is Mohieddine Kronfol. He's managing director at Algebra Capital, and he joins us now live from Dubai. Good evening to you, Dino. Where are you finding opportunities in this market right now? And have you sort of missed the window at this point?
That's a very good question. We've clearly come a long way over the past 6 months. As you mentioned, the Sukuk market, or the Islamic bond market that you're referring to, has very heavy concentrations in Dubai and the UAE in particular. And that this particular region was obviously impacted by the credit crisis to the extent, in fact, that people started pricing in broad defaults across many of the both government as well as corporate sectors. We didn't subscribe to that theory and felt that the wider region was going to collectively pull resources and support really a lot of the government initiatives here, and we're able to participate in that rally. But having said that, there's a lot of issues outstanding in the UAE and the Gulf region in general. Not least of them is the issue of the contingent liabilities for Dubai and for government-related entities in general. And so whereas the rest of the world have actually gone on a borrowing spree, the global issuance to date has actually hit record numbers, $2.5 trillion globally. In fact, credit markets to the MENA region has just now beginning to take off, really only after a few months after Abu Dhabi and Qatar and other government-related entities came to the market. So these markets have actually been more or less shut down for the past 6 months and have now sort of reopened. And actually today we are just on the eve of a new government of Dubai issue, and I think you're going to start seeing a lot more issuance in the next few months, and I think that's actually going to contribute to performance over the next few months.
Now, you mentioned that Dubai.
Having said that, we're
sorry, we've got a bit of a delay here. You mentioned that Dubai issuance, the government's setting up a $2.5 billion Islamic bond program as part of that $6.5 billion fundraising effort here. Are you going to participate in that?
Well, we're waiting for final details. They're in the process of doing a roadshow. Preliminary pricing has been released at about 375 basis points. I think here we need to distinguish between two things. You have the government of Dubai, and there I think we're a little bit more comfortable now that we have a little bit more information available as to their debt situation, their debt dynamics. But I think this is just the beginning, if you want, of solving or resolving the issue of contingent liabilities for Dubai, because the Dubai model is actually a little bit unique in the Arab world, because the government sector actually is a relatively small percentage of total GDP. So whereas, we're fairly comfortable with the government of Dubai, there is still the issue of how to deal with contingent liabilities over the next sort of 6, 12, or 24 months. I think this is a very good positive step, and I think we probably will participate, but the extent to which we do so or how aggressively we engage, I think is still a function of additional information that needs to be forthcoming about contingent liabilities. But in general, I think the worst is probably behind them. I think now they have the support of both the government of Abu Dhabi as well as the broader UAE. Their banking system seems to have dealt with liquidity issues rather well over the past 3 months. They haven't missed any payments. You mentioned the Nakheel issue. That's probably going to be resolved in December. So I think we're in the middle of a wave of relatively positive momentum, and I think that's probably going to carry through. So I guess the short answer is yes, but in a few months we're going to have to actually see a lot of the hard structural work that they need to do begin bearing fruit. And if that doesn't happen, I think that might actually change the situation slightly.
All right. Well, we're going to continue following this. And as you highlighted, December, key time period to watch with that issue with Nakheel. Thank you so much. Our guest, Mohieddine Kronfol, at Algebra Capital, joining us today live from Dubai in what is their evening.